What's up, Maniacs? My name's Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And it is the first day of 2022. So happy new year to each and every one of you. I hope you had a smashing 2021. We're going to smash it in 2022. And we're going to jump straight into it. Wrestling predictions for this year. It's going to be another crazy year of wrestling. It's going to be a better year of wrestling than we got last year. I claim it. Amen. It's gonna happen. So yeah, a lot to talk about. I want to hear your predictions down below in the comments as well, and make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A lot of big things coming this year, so I'm looking forward to seeing you guys along this journey with me. But without further ado, let's get into it. 10 wrestling predictions for 2022. Number 10, MJF wins the AEW World title. MJF is one of the best characters today in wrestling. This young man just gets it. He is a heat magnet, and even in his hometown of Long Island, we recently saw that this guy is so over. I think in the last 3 months, especially for me, he's went to yet another level. Not just on the mic, where we know he is an absolute beast, but in ring as well. We saw a fantastic performance from him at AEW Full Gear, and I think he's going to take that on into 2022 and do some great things. He has a fantastic win-loss record for AEW. I think this guy has lost maybe about 3 times since AEW's inception. If we are to look at a record of all of his stats, all of his matches, and yes, he doesn't wrestle a lot, but all of his matches since AEW started, I'm sure he hasn't lost any more than 5 times, if even up to 5 times. He's been well protected, he is well booked, and I expect him to be the dastardly heel that's going to take the championship from Hangman Adam Page. Generally, we're not expecting Hangman to have a long reign, and yeah, I think MJF is the primed candidate to become AEW World title, especially to beat Hangman and to become world champion this year. Number 9, Page leaves WWE. Now, Paige is someone that is a big talent. I think she holds a special place in most of our hearts for someone that just hasn't really ever got a full run at wrestling, especially since, you know, the women's revolution kind of stuff happened in WWE. She just didn't really get a chance because she was injured and out of action. Paige retired in April 2018. Shortly after that, WWE started their WWE Backstage show on Fox with Renee Young, Paige and Booker T, and after some time the show was cancelled. We haven't seen Paige on TV for a very long time in the WWE Backstage capacity or on WWE TV itself. We know Paige consistently has issues with WWE and their standing on Twitch and other third-party platforms, and even if they made a Hail Mary attempt to keep Paige in WWE with her contract running out, the fact that they would want her to come off Twitch would be a big sticking point, I imagine. So I think Paige is going to leave WWE in 2022. Who knows, she may actually get cleared to wrestle somewhere else. That could be very interesting. But yeah, I think Paige and WWE's relationship is coming to an end in 2022. Number 8, Bron Breakker debuts on the main roster. Bron Breakker has had a fantastic 2021. Since the minute he debuted, he was shot to the top. The rocket is on the boy's back, and the boy deserves it. He has been absolutely excellent in everything he's done, from performance-wise in terms of mic and promo and everything like that, to even in the ring. He is head and heels ahead of a lot of the other kind of academy level guys coming through in the performance center. He has literally shown that he is a Steiner, whether WWE want to acknowledge it or not. I would go as far to say by the end of January 2022, he's going to become NXT champion. I'm sure he's going to have beaten Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT title this month of January. And yeah, I assume by the draft in October or so that he will be on the main roster. They definitely seem to have high hopes for Bron Breakker. So yeah, let's see it come to fruition. Number 7, AEW Dynamite beats Raw's viewership ratings. Now, you guys know me, I ain't a ratings man, so I ain't gonna be talking about this for a long time, because to be honest, I don't even know what I'm talking about. AEW Dynamite has beaten WWE Raw in the 18 to 50 demo, the all-important demo, on at least 2 occasions in 2021 already. That's already happened. But I'm not talking about these little independent demos. I'm talking about the general viewership of the show. I believe AEW Dynamite at some point in 2022 is going to have a larger viewership than WWE Raw. And yeah, it's all kind of complicated to calculate, especially because the 2 shows aren't actually on the same day of the week, so it's even a little bit of a cheat. But I definitely think that Dynamite is going to have at one point in this year a higher viewership than Raw. 1.1 million, 1.2 million equaling Raw. Who knows? I'm backing AEW to actually beat Raw at some point during the year. Number 6, Ric Flair appears on AEW TV. Now, to be honest, this should have happened already. If it wasn't for Ric Flair going and getting himself in trouble, his misdemeanors of the past resurfacing, I'm sure we would have seen Ric Flair on AEW TV at some point in 2021. It hasn't happened. I do think maybe the dust needs to settle, everything needs to calm down a bit, and we will see Ric Flair on AEW TV at some point in 2022. Ric Flair seems completely done with WWE. He's already a Hall of Famer. He hasn't got any real reason to go back over there. Even so much so, he's now calling out some of the things that WWE have done in the past on his podcast. Yep, he's turned into a chatty patty, one of those guys that just get angry at everything now. AEW have seemed to find really good usage out of some of the older guys and the legends of the game, putting them on TV. I don't know if Ric Flair being paired with Andrade is still a thing. Is it still an option? Is Andrade even still with Charlotte? No one really knows what's going on there, but I'm sure Ric Flair could find himself, broker himself a deal if you like, to get himself on AEW TV, not the future, 2022. Number 5, Drew McIntyre beats Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. I predict 2022 is going to be a big year for Drew. You know, he's been kept relatively warm and close to the title scene over the last year without actually becoming champion. He's been dwindling a bit in the last few months of 2021, but 2022, I think he is primed to really go against the head of the table and win the Universal Championship. He may even lose to Roman Reigns one more time before he actually does it. But with the UK Stadium show planned for September, I can't think of a better place to give Drew McIntyre the coronation he didn't get at WrestleMania in 2020 because of the pandemic. Give Drew McIntyre a big, fat, massive win in the UK against Roman Reigns, basically crowning him as the new guy. That moment he didn't get at WrestleMania in 2020. It's time to have your moment, Drew McIntyre. And like I say, I know Drew McIntyre isn't popular with a lot of fans, but Drew McIntyre is fantastic. I think over the time as champion, in the pandemic era, he did all that he could as champion. It wasn't a fair way to kind of come into things. It wasn't a fair way how he went out, but I definitely think Drew McIntyre is WWE's guy. And yeah, he will have his big opportunity once again in 2022. Number 4, Impact Wrestling Exodus. There's gonna be a lot of names leaving Impact. I don't know what is going on, why all their contracts is up in 2022, and I say all. The big hitters, a lot of big names are set to leave Impact in 2022. Now, of course, not all of them will actually leave. A lot of them will probably just re-sign and stay where they are. But there are definitely some names that I see going over to other promotions, namely AEW, namely the Good Brothers. We have seen them have a stint with the Elite in AEW. I expect them to move on to AEW and sign a full-time contract with the brand and leave their days in Impact behind. Deonna Purrazzo, former women's champion's contract is also rumored to be up in 2022. Deonna Purrazzo has cleaned out over the last couple years the entire Impact women's division. She lost her title to Mickie James. Questionable somewhat, but Deonna Purrazzo needs to move on to bigger and better, bigger stages, bigger competitors, an actual TV show. Deonna Purrazzo deserves it all because she is that good, and I think AEW and Deonna Purrazzo are a match made in heaven. It's definitely going to happen in 2022. I would bet a lot of money on it. Number 3, Bryan Danielson will be named number 1 in the men's PWI rankings for 2022. This would be an absolutely phenomenal achievement if Bryan Danielson done this, because one, this isn't someone that should even be wrestling at this level, this stage in his career, with the injuries and the severity of the injuries he has had. Bryan Danielson has done fantastic to come back from those and be putting on the level of matches he is putting on week in, week out. I also say this will be a big achievement because I'm pretty sure if Bryan Danielson was even to get close to that top 3 of the PWI for 2022, he would have done it without even winning a title. I can't see a title in Bryan Danielson's future at all. Maybe something smaller, maybe something like the Owen Cup at best, but I can't see him winning a title. And to come number 1 in PWI men's rankings just off the back of match quality alone, I think would be a fantastic achievement, and I'm already claiming that he deserves it. Now, the PWI is always a hard one to work out because it's ranked from July of the previous year to like July of the year you're going to be awarded, so it's like July to July rather than an actual calendar year, if you get what I mean. But I think that is the perfect period which covers everything great Danielson has done. So yeah, Danielson, I'm putting my flag down from now. He's going to be number 1 in the world for men PWI. Let's see if it happens. Number 2, Bianca Belair wins the Women's Royal Rumble. She is the premier woman in WWE, and yes, she doesn't have a title, so how could she be premier? Bianca Belair is absolutely fantastic, and I don't think one person would necessarily argue with her becoming a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, a back-to-back Royal Rumble winner. The whole story with her and Becky over the last couple of months was Becky was ducking her, trying not to face her for the championship. When she did face her, Becky cheated to win, so Becky hasn't got a clean win over Bianca Belair. And if Bianca Belair goes through the motions of winning the Royal Rumble again and then having to face Becky Lynch on the big stage of WrestleMania, Becky can't duck her, Becky can't run away, and maybe they'll even put in a stipulation where Becky can't actually cheat to win, a no disqualification or something. Bianca Belair, I predict, is going to win the Women's Royal Rumble. I'll even go as far to predict Bianca Belair is going to finish WrestleMania weekend as the Raw Women's Champion. Let's see it happen. Last but not least, number 1 on this list of wrestling predictions for 2022, Kazuchika Okada appears in AEW. I'm trying to hear that coin drop. We need to hear that. The last few months on AEW TV, the Chaos faction has been consistently mentioned on TV by the likes of Excalibur. We've seen Rocky Romero from the faction appear on AEW TV, and of course the other guys that were formerly New Japan guys in Chaos. We see the likes of Ishii, we see the likes of Trent on AEW TV. Chaos is forming a strong little US department, if you like, on AEW TV, and I think the king, the leader, Kazuchika Okada, needs to show his face sooner rather than later. Nothing's happening in New Japan. New Japan has been slightly disappointing for some time now, and Okada's next big challenge surely waits in AEW. Now, by the time that you guys watch this, and in the next couple of days, we're going to get Wrestle Kingdom over there in New Japan, Okada could become IWGP champion again. And wouldn't it be fun to roll back the years and have Okada versus Omega for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on AEW TV? I know I'm not the only person that wants to see that, so that is something I definitely think is going to happen. I definitely think in one way, shape or form, Okada is going to show up at an AEW show, maybe Dynamite, a Rampage, definitely a pay-per-view, maybe not so much Dark and Elevation and them things there, but everything else is open season. Okada, the forbidden door is open, come through. So guys, those are my 10 wrestling predictions for 2022. I want to know what you think of them, and in the comment section as well, please put your predictions for anything wrestling in 2022. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.